Decades of scorched records, missing reports, and homesteads reduced to ash. A nameless line of children, some locals whisper twins, others call them duplicates, raised by a woman who vanished from public life after a scandal in 1921. People started calling them the mirror children. If you ever came across a photograph that shouldn't exist, two barefoot boys standing outside a cabin gone from every map, and when you looked closely their faces matched in a way that was almost identical but not quite, would you keep it or burn it? This is Gothic Ledger. I want you to do one thing right now. Look at your clock and say where you are. Because no matter how far you are from Kentucky, this story seems to find its way back. They weren't registered in school. They were never baptized. No birth entries, no graves. Yet they kept being seen, always two at a time, moving in perfect unison. Then, in 2019, a government drone recorded them. Here it's what the state buried and what the land refused to stay silent about. A story of bloodlines, isolation, and a woman who might have shaped her own legacy. The photograph at the start of this tale was recovered after record floods in early 1939. Archivists, sifting through water-damaged drawers beneath the Leslie County Courthouse, found most of what you'd expect. Mold-ruined ledgers, decayed registries. Tucked between soaked folios, stuck and curled with age, was a single photograph. Two barefoot boys on the porch of a collapsing cabin. Their shirts hung loose. One had his mouth slightly open, the other's eyes seemed unfocused. Their faces matched almost perfectly. One eye a fraction lower, one jaw slightly off, as though someone had tried to copy a single face and the mirror slipped. No stamp, no studio mark, no note on the back. The photo was cataloged simply as unknown children, possible homestead case, and the archivist who logged it later said he couldn't recall why she filed it. Over the next decades it popped up in drawers and reports, each time growing a new layer of rumor. Folklorists eventually christened the image the Mirror Children. Hollow Ridge, a damp tangle of laurel and mist outside Hyann, Kentucky, a place that doesn't appear on many maps, was where the story settled. There, records and oral memory point to a single house once owned by Leela May Merryweather. Born in 1889, Leela inherited the modest cabin at 17. She paid taxes in person and on the dot until 1921. Then she disappeared from town life. A church ledger notes only stricken from the rolls, moral unfitness, no further detail, no official trace. In the years after, rumors swirled of pale boys seen near the hollow, always together, never named, never recorded. From 1938 until the cabin's end in 1954, witnesses described two boys who never left the property, who moved and ate as though mimicking a conductor's motion. Leela called them my echoes, a phrase that appears again and again in scraps of her handwriting found later. Photographs and survivors' accounts paint a house of practiced silence. Mirrors and shiny surfaces covered, dinner eaten in mirrored rhythm, portraits defaced and eyes scratched out. The place felt ritualized, not simply neglected. A traveling merchant, a social worker, and later a forensic investigator, all filed notes that disappear into official drawers or were quietly closed. Evelyn Cross, a young outreach worker, walked up the ridge in April 1953, wrote carefully in her journal, and then vanished. Her last entries described the boys' blank faces and the way one would copy the other before speaking. She never returned. Her disappearance was catalogued as an accident and never reopened. In April 1954, the cabin was found reduced to an inward fire. Charred ruins with no outside scorch marks and two sets of small, soot-pressed footprints walking away into the woods. Nothing of Leela remained. A typewritten note arrived to the court shortly after, anonymous and cryptic. The blood ran in circles. The parcel trail stopped there. Years later, routine construction exposed a shallow pit containing 3 child skeletons with unusual symmetrical cranial development and a tiny infinity loop carved on a jawbone. The remains were boxed, labeled, and shelved. DNA options at the time were limited. No matches were made. Local investigators who saw the bones described them as too similar, as though someone had tried to duplicate the same child and failed repeatedly. The case was quietly archived. Stories persisted. Sightings, always of 2 figures, continued into the late 20th and early 21st centuries. Hikers found a crude cross with 2 burned shoes tied to it. Anonymous, oddly timed letters signed M. Merryweather circulated around postboxes in rural towns. Researchers who tried to publish or press on the file sometimes stopped abruptly. Notes missing, writers gone, reports suppressed. In 2019, a wildfire survey drone captured 15 seconds of 2 pale figures moving with uncanny synchronicity. The footage was misclassified, hidden, then leaked anonymously. The person who posted the frames vanished soon after. Hollow Ridge remains overgrown. Equipment glitches. Dogs fall silent. GPS fails. Folklorists call it inherited myth, an echo born of isolation. But the photograph exists. The bones exist. Reports exist. Somewhere between those threads is a quieter, darker truth of a woman, a hidden ritual, and the lengths a place will go to hide itself. The mirror children keep showing up, not to frighten, but to remind. Some stories don't die. They only wait to be seen. If you liked this, subscribe for more. Keep the lights low while you listen, and if you see motion in the corner of your screen, don't look away.